Rohan!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my corner. Thank you guys for the introduction and it's good to be back. And this week on my corner I am discussing the upcoming Transformers Kingdom Netflix series and what I expect to see. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is, well, we saw the release of the teaser trailer last week or a week and a bit ago now, which showed a couple of the characters coming up in Kingdom, primarily the Beast Wars characters as we expected. However, with only a couple of weeks left until the show actually launches on Netflix, I thought now would be a good time to discuss it, considering we've got a huge amount of hype going on for the Beast Wars upcoming movie as well. So we do definitely seem to be in this Beast era right now. And with the Kingdom toy line sort of coming towards the sort of back end, really, we're talking about the last few waves coming out in the next few months, and some people have already got their figures coming through in terms of the Ark and Galvatron and so on and so forth. Now's a great time to be getting into that section. So, here are my predictions for Transformers Kingdom, the Netflix series. Prediction number one. I don't think we're going to see any new G1 characters coming into this series. The number of models that they're having to create for the Beast Wars characters that we've already seen in that teaser trailer, just Megatron, Primal, Rhinox, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Tigertron, is enough cost that I can't foresee them adding too many more. I'd hope there are a few more Predacons, because just to have Megatron would be a bit silly. And yeah, the number of Maximals to Predacons is obviously massively disproportionate, but there's some great characters there that they can utilize that they've made toys of, like Black Arachnia and Waspinator and so on and so forth. However, it's hard to see because, you know, all of those characters that we've seen so far showcased in that teaser trailer were early wave characters from the toy line, and that's what we saw in Siege and Earthrise. Was the specifically with Siege, was that the early wave characters came out in the first couple of episodes, and then as the show went on, more characters were introduced. So it could be a similar sort of thing happening in this series as well. My next prediction is that we are going to see two G1 to an extent characters being introduced. One is going to be the Ark, because every series so far has heavily focused on the Titan class character, and obviously so, because it's a large price point, it's an expensive toy, and they have to sell the toy, and so therefore they have to have the Ark. Now technically they've had the Ark in Earthrise and it's going to crash. Are we actually going to see the Ark turn into the last Autobot or whatever his name is? I don't know. Maybe we'll just see the Ark embedded in the volcano, or showcasing some elements like Teletran 1, that sort of thing. Maybe that will be the case. If that is, then I think a lot of fans will be disappointed, because there won't be enough of the whole transformation and selling point for that. The other is Rodimus Prime, because in Siege we had a huge amount of Jetfire Commander class. In Earthrise he somehow shoehorned in Skylynx for an episode or two. He didn't really do much, but he was there, and I can't see them getting away with the 80-pound Rodimus Prime figure without putting him into the show. So I think he will be there, and if he's there, then potentially Galvatron might have some case to come back again. Even though we've already seen him in Earthrise, the toy obviously coming out in Kingdom, then maybe we'll actually get to see a little bit more Galvatron in Kingdom as well. And we saw Ultra Magnus. So here's prediction number 3 for me. I think Ultra Magnus is coming back as some sort of zombie. I think he's been resurrected by the Decepticons or the Quintesson to do their bidding, and that could be the story arc. We see those blocks behind him and Prime when they're having their little feud, although it's not clear whether or not it is actually Prime versus Magnus. That could be there to trick us. We see those blocks, and I think that could be either he's coming back to fight the Quintesson battle for the Quintessons, like they did with Prime in G1, or it's another of those sort of vision quests or dreams that Prime had about Nemesis Prime, because there was the mention of I am your nemesis. So there could be something there about that. My next prediction is that we will see predominantly the Beast characters in this series. I think a majority of the characters that we saw in Siege and Earthrise are going to drop round into the background. Characters who didn't get a lot of lines, like Ironhide and Mirage, those kind of characters are going to disappear from the forefront, and I think you'll see Prime and Megatron from the respective sort of leadership positions combining forces with the Beast characters, and then having some sort of epic battle and coming to a conclusion in that sense. And I think a lot of the G1 fans will be disappointed, but this is the way in which they're trying to transition from G1 to Beast Wars, especially as I mentioned with that movie coming up. They're trying to focus the characters that way, and hopefully if they do it well and they do some homage back to the original Beast Wars characters, you know, getting some of those classic lines in there, some of the voice acting, although Primal's didn't sound anything like Primal, but you know, it was a generic person's voice. We know that the voice acting in the War for Cybertron series has been pretty poor on the whole. I would still like to see some of the elements from Cybertron continue, especially, you know, the likes of what happened with Shockwave and with Jetfire, Elita 1. Starscream's gone off with Megatron now, so hopefully he stays around and continues his plights. But yeah, those are my predictions for Kingdom. I'm, you know, not overly optimistic that it's going to be everything for everyone, because I think ultimately there's, again, too much to shove into 6 episodes, especially with so many new characters to thrust in, and therefore there also needs to be some sort of new story arc as well, and how they're going to explain the Earth, and you know, maybe the VOC will be involved. I would love to see the VOC involved in that. I don't know if there's enough time or story space to do that, but hey, these are my predictions. What do you all think? It'd be great to hear from you all. Let us know what you think's coming up in the Kingdom series for another week. I've been Rohan. Back to the studio.
Hey boys, we've been rumbled. Well, let's bounce.